Forget everything you thought you knew about Uzbekistan. This isn't the Silk Road or some storybook land of Eastern sweets. This is a parallel civilization where skyscrapers sprout up next to tiny houses, and plov isn't just food, it's a religion. Take off the tourist glasses. We're in Tashkent, a city that clutches a smartphone in one hand and a piece of flatbread fresh from a tandoor oven in the other. The streets aren't Asia, and they aren't Europe. This is Tashkent, where a man in a business suit wears homemade prayer beads on his wrist and carries the latest iPhone in his pocket. Look closely. A street vendor sells fruit, and in the storefront next to him, a boutique displays Italian suits. Two worlds, an arm's length apart. They don't blend, they coexist. Let's go to the metro. Yes, the metro. But forget everything you knew about subways. Here, it's not transportation. It's an underground palace. Mosaics, marble, stations named after poets and stars. One is about space, another about literature. Inside the cars, grandmothers with baskets of grapes, students in hoodies, and shawarma vendors with portable speakers. All together, all at once. The camera slowly glides across the station walls. Poems are etched into the marble. The faces of passers-by show a familiarity with greatness. The clatter of the train is like a drum roll. People are heading to the market, not just for groceries, because an Uzbek market is a theater where all the roles have been scripted for centuries. We head to the bazaar. It's called Chorsu. But it's not just a market, it's an entire universe. Here, fruits are laid out like jewels. Apricots, watermelons, pomegranates, everything sparkles. But the main thing is the smell. Bread, spices, grilled meat. It hits you like the first shot at a wedding. A vendor isn't just selling, he's performing. He jokes, he calls out, he sings. A crowd gathers around him. Some haggle, some just came to talk. Here, a purchase is a ritual. An old man talks about how he used to trade back in the Soviet days. His voice is like the wind off a dusty road. Nearby, boys chase pigeons. Someone laughs, someone sings, someone is frying samsa. Every inch of this place is alive. It's not a museum, not an exhibition. It's real life. Now, pan the camera up. Above the bazaar, old roofs and new signs. Here, in one day, you can buy an iPhone, a carpet, and a camel. No joke. Right now, a live sheep is being led through the crowd. Nearby, a woman in a hijab with brightly painted eyes. Smiles are everywhere, but these aren't service industry smiles. They hold wisdom. People here don't smile for tips. Cars, motorcycles, carts, everything is in motion, but there's no rush. Time here stretches out like thread on a spindle. Along the road, men play backgammon. Nearby, plov is cooking, right on the street. Over the cauldron is gold, no joke. Here, plov is valued more than Bitcoin, because plov is family, it's memory, it's a cult. Children eat sweets, old men read the newspaper, women carry enormous baskets as if they were weightless. There isn't a single indifferent face. Everyone is doing something, even when they're resting. In Tashkent, they don't live like us. They live as if they know something we've forgotten. And just when you think you've figured it all out, Tashkent shows you another side. It whispers, "I'm just getting started." We're in Samarkand. In the middle of the square, tourists, fingers glued to their smartphones. Selfies. They pose, not knowing they're standing on ground once walked by caravans carrying Parian gold and Chinese silk. But the camera pans to the side. We turn a corner, and there's another Samarkand. Without the camera flashes, without the postcards. A street where the facades are peeling, where windows are boarded up with plywood, where tea is brewed in the courtyard over a couple of bricks. This is home to the shadow of a city that no longer exists on postcards. In these alleys live great-grandmothers who pray, not in mosques, but at their doorsteps. Kids who know where to get the best Wi-Fi signal, but have never seen the ocean. Men in robes who sit on stools, smoking and staring at a wall for hours. Over there, a carpet shop. The owner says each one has a story. We pick one up and realize it's not a rug, it's a map. The patterns aren't just lines, they're chronicles of a family, a tribe, a love. Next, silver. Not just jewelry. These aren't just chains, they're amulets against the evil eye, against poverty, against obscurity.
Each piece is like a charm against being forgotten. Samarkand doesn't shout, it whispers, but if you don't listen, it disappears. Here's a street where they sell halva, not for tourists, for locals. On the display, one tray, one price, one recipe, the same one from 200 years ago. Further on, the Bibi Khanum Mosque. Legend says it was built on a woman's orders, but when you look at it, you don't believe it. It's too massive, too proud. The camera flies over the domes, and you see it. The temple isn't just standing there. It's advancing, as if to say, look, but don't touch. Cracks in the mosaic, arches tired of holding up the centuries, towers that seem to be standing on tiptoe, but it's still standing because it wasn't built for beauty, it was built for eternity. We get closer. Above the entrance, signs of restoration. They can't be hidden, but they don't spoil it. Tourists snap pictures. In a corner, a guard quietly reads the Quran. His voice is lost in the noise, like a song in the rain. Next, a souvenir street. Bright cups, magnets, scarves. Everything glitters. Everything is new. But if you walk a little further, behind the counter, you enter a back room. A boy is stacking boxes while his sister makes tea. They're 10, maybe 11. Look at their faces. An adult weariness, quiet voices, but their hands are nimble. They know how to work, because they have to. We go out to the market, loud, colorful, just like in Tashkent, but different. This one smells of dried fruit and heat. Here, a vendor can speak 3 languages and haggle in all of them. One offers dried apricots, another raisins like pearls, a third spices. Hundreds of shades, thousands of scents. But again, we step aside. We see an old man sitting by a wall, not looking at the customers, but into the distance. He remembers a Samarkand without signs, without buses, without the gloss. He doesn't speak, he just nods. But in his eyes, there is everything. Caravans, wars, weddings, famine, the USSR, independence, devaluations. He is like a tower, standing, not crumbling. The day ends. The camera pulls up higher, over the markets, mosques, courtyards. Samarkand falls asleep slowly. The street lights go out one by one. But the spirit of the city doesn't sleep.
It walks between the houses. It watches, listens, breathes. Here, every window is an eye into the past. Every door is a portal. Nothing disappears. It all waits for someone to listen again, or at least to notice. Samarkand isn't just a dot on a map. It's a footprint. If you step in it, it will leave a mark on you. Forever. A new day. They appear suddenly. In the bazaars, in the alleyways, in the metro. Uzbek women. You can spot them from a distance, not by their faces, but by their silhouettes, by the fabric that shimmers in the sun like water. Their clothing isn't just clothing, it's armor and a banner all at once. The dresses aren't made for fashion. They are a genealogy woven into the cloth, hand-embroidered, patterns with secret meanings. Gold on their necks, gold on their wrists, gold in their ears. A lot of it, not grams, pounds. Wedding gold isn't jewelry, it's currency, an inheritance, armor. One bride in Samarkand wore exactly 4.4 pounds of it, earrings, rings, bracelets, chains. When she walked down the street, the sun was blinding. Cars stopped, and people turned to stare. She didn't smile. She walked like a living investment. The gold isn't about glitter. It's insurance. If the husband leaves, if the children get sick, if everything falls apart, these rings can be sold. You can leave with them. You can survive with them. But there's another side. These ornaments are also shackles. They're worn not by choice, but by demand. The more gold, the higher the expectations. You must be a homemaker. You must be faithful. You must be perfect. The glitter is an obligation. At the celebration, you're a statue. At home, you're a servant. They're all different, but they all have the same look in their eyes. A look of strength and exhaustion. It holds everything. In one mahalla, a traditional neighborhood, a woman bakes flatbread, one after another, since 5 in the morning. She doesn't complain. She never complains. She just does it. Her mother did it. Her daughter will do it.
Another woman sews a dress, a custom order, from expensive fabric, for another woman who will have a wedding, gold, a photographer, and she will remain in the same workshop, under the same dim light. We approach a house. Behind the gate, little girls, 4, 6, 8 years old. They all already know what they will be. Wives, mothers, homemakers. They aren't asked questions. They aren't offered choices. It's all mapped out. But then, a young woman appears in the frame, in jeans, no headscarf, carrying a laptop. She says, "I don't want to get married." It's not a challenge. It's a sentence. Her family is in shock. The neighbors whisper. Her mother is silent. She doesn't run. She doesn't scream. She just works. She teaches math at an online school for herself, without a husband. In Uzbekistan, this is a rebellion, a small one, but you can feel it. In another district, a grandmother talks about how she dreamed of being an actress when she was young, but she was married off at 16. Since then, it's been only the kitchen, the children, the garden. She doesn't cry. She smiles, but there's a crack in her voice. A bridal salon, white dresses, mannequins like dolls. Young women come in as if for an audition. They try on dresses. They look in the mirror.
No one asks what they want. What matters is how they look. One father says a daughter must be the family's ornament. In the frame is his daughter, silent, eyes downcast, 7 chains around her neck. Not one of them was her choice. But it's not all black and white. These women know how to be strong. They know how to be silent but still be in charge, how to yield but remember everything, how to obey but never surrender. In a kitchen, a woman cooks plov. The air smells of cardamom. The camera shows her adding the meat, stirring the rice, generously sprinkling cumin. The plov turns out perfectly, as always. A woman who knows how to cook will never be alone, she says, looking straight into the camera, without a smile. A woman in Uzbekistan is not a symbol. She's a system. Without her, the home doesn't work. The market doesn't work. The state doesn't work. But no one asks if the system is tired, if it's creaking, if it wants a reboot. As long as she is silent, everyone pretends everything is fine. The gold shines, but it doesn't warm, and beneath it are bones and a voice that is yet to be fully heard. We move on. A massive crater, deeper than a football stadium, wider than any market in Uzbekistan. This is Murantau, a gold vein, the pride of the nation, an economic legend, or so it seems. Every year, over 2 million ounces of gold are extracted from here. Inside, excavators, hundreds of them, like ants. They dig day and night. The dust hangs like smoke. The air is bitter. The workers wear respirators, if they're lucky, otherwise just masks or nothing. The wages are average. The conditions are harsh. Water is rationed. Thousands of men. Few of them smile. Almost no one speaks. The camera follows one of them, 35 years old. He works in shifts. His home is in another region. He sees his kids once a month. He points to a chain around his neck. This isn't gold, it's a memory. The stuff we dig up ends up in other hands. In the nearby town, there's dust, not gold dust. On the streets, car washes, kiosks, small cafes, houses without air conditioning. The water is warm if it's running. The internet is a lottery. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is the feeling. You live next to the wealth, but you can't touch it. You watch trucks haul away tons of gold while you count coins at the store. In the capital, the conversation is different. They're building skyscrapers, launching startups. They talk about how Uzbekistan is a land of opportunity. While Tashkent discusses business forums, the company towns divide bread and kefir. Next, another statistic. Housing. It seems affordable. You can rent an apartment in the capital for a fraction of an average European salary. Sounds great. But on the ground, there are nuances.
Yes, rent is cheap, but the salaries are even cheaper. You earn $100, you spend $80, and you're still living on the edge. On the streets of Tashkent, samsa and flatbread are on every corner. But who eats them every day? The office workers, those who cater to tourists. The ones who bake them eat the leftovers. The camera enters an apartment, a one-room flat, 5 people. The stove is gas, but the tank is running low. The refrigerator hums like a tank. The window is sealed with plastic film to keep the draft out. The children do their homework by the light of a phone because the light bulb burned out, and payday is a week away. The father says, "There's work, but there's no life." They save on transportation. The buses are old, taxis are unaffordable, the minibuses are packed, but no one complains. They're used to it. They cry not from pain, but when the water gets shut off in July. In the villages, it's even harder. No paved roads, no pharmacies. The doctor is 9 miles away. The school is 6. The women are in the garden. The men are out doing odd jobs. The kids are on their phones if there's a signal. They don't live by years here. They live by seasons. Winter is for surviving. Summer is for earning. Autumn is for preserving. The camera shows an old man. He sits on a bench and says, "I remember when they brought electricity here. I thought everything would be different, but everything just got more expensive." And then, the contrast. A skyscraper in Tashkent. Huge. Glass. Inside, a shopping mall. Coffee shops. Brand names. Security at the entrance. Inside, air conditioning. Music. English. A man walks out onto the street. He looks at the window displays and keeps walking, because behind the glass is another world. Not for him, not for people like him. The good news: visa-free travel. Over 100 countries, no paperwork, no hassle, you land and you're here. Welcome to Uzbekistan. The doors are wide open, the curtain is raised. The streets are full of tourists, hundreds, thousands. They photograph the plov, the silk scarves, the ridged melons. They post hashtags, buy magnets. They don't see the dust. They don't show you the dust here. Navruz, the spring festival. But it's not just a holiday. It's a performance. National. Grandiose. The square is covered in carpets. The tables are laden with food. The people are dancing. The camera rises, and from above, it's all a postcard. Joy, laughter, harmony. But now, go lower. Who cooked all this food? Who came not to celebrate, but to work? Behind the scenes, women in aprons. It's hot, sweltering, noisy. Their faces are bare. They aren't posing. They were kneading dough all night. In the corner, a young man carries a chair on his back. He's clearing props. Over the day, he'll lift 40 chairs, and no one will ask his name. But the stage shines. Everything here is scripted. Hosts in national costumes, children in flower crowns, grandmothers dancing. The guests are ecstatic. "What kind, wonderful people," one says. "Such soul," another echoes. They smile, but they don't notice a mother in the crowd smacking her child for asking for ice cream because there's no money. The locals smile at the tourists. They say, "Welcome." But there's exhaustion in their eyes because the day has just begun and they're already out of energy. Gastronomic tours are the new trend. In Samarkand, plav over an open fire, lamb samsa, flatbread from a tandoor. For the tourists, it's a show. For the cooks, it's hell. In one cafe, a young woman has been cutting meat since 8 in the morning. Her hand is bandaged, It won't heal. It's the season, she says. Gotta make money while they're here. The whole city has been turned into a display window. Here there are flowers. It's clean. There's security. But step around the corner, and you're in another reality again. Dust, trash, old fences, closed pharmacies.
A new boulevard in Tashkent. Fountains, palm trees, paved walkways. Photo zones, Wi-Fi, electric scooters. Nearby, a woman sells corn, alone, in flip-flops, in the sun. She has 3 children. One has a disability. Her pension is peanuts. She doesn't look at the fountain. She has no time for beauty. She's counting small change. While others pose against the backdrop of architectural pride, she's thinking about how to buy buckwheat. The paradox. The country invites the world to see how it lives, but what it puts on display isn't reality. It's a glossy copy. A new business center, a grand opening, red ribbon, applause, officials. Inside, rent is in dollars. Outside, locals walk past. What's this going to be? Probably for foreigners. Well, let it be. The voice is quiet, as if they were never asked. On one street, a luxury watch shop. On the next, a pawn shop with a line of retirees out the door. Some are selling their rings. Others are buying status. And then a festival. Music, a stage, dancing, hosts in costume. A camera crew files a report. Tashkent is changing. Tashkent is blooming. But behind the stage, a young mother with a stroller, crying. Not because of the song, because of the electricity bill. A festival doesn't cancel the bills. The illusion. There it is, in full swing. We return to Tashkent. Everything is the same, but our perspective is different. Now, you don't notice the storefronts, you see the cracks. Not the signs, but the tangled wires. Not the smiles, but the wrinkles. Here it is, the district of the old mahallas. They don't bring tourists here. Time hasn't stopped here. It has simply retreated. Houses of brick, stacked on brick, courtyards with buckets and stools. On the streets, boys kick a ball between puddles and garbage. Graffiti on a wall. Love is bread and work. Women sit on carpets, not talking, staring towards the new high-rises. They look like castles, but not for them, for others, for those who made it. And right there, a brand new office building, glassy, gleaming. Inside, air conditioning, coffee machines, meetings in English. 2 worlds in one block, separated not by a fence, but by a price tag. In one, they live. In the other, they survive. We go to the metro. It seems the same, but now we see more. A musician on the platform, not for likes, for bread. An artist selling postcards, not for art, for his family. Cosmonautler station. Mosaics, domes, light. But on a bench, a woman with 2 large bags, sleeping. In the metro. Because she has no home. Or worse. At the Chorsu Bazaar, there's another line. Not for fruit. For expired dried apricots at a discount. One man says, I have a job, a family, a diploma, but I have no future. Another adds, but at least the country has a business card. And here it is, the main scene. A wedding reception in a restaurant. Everything sparkles, gold, music, guests. And next to it,
A delivery driver eats his meal on the curb. He brought the plov. He didn't get to taste it. Samarkand. Again, Registan Square at night. The three madrasas stand like titans. The floodlights make them look deceptively magical. But we step back, further and further still. Turn off the lights, put away the cameras. The Registan becomes dark, rough, heavy. Somewhere between these walls is the country you can't see during the day.
The country without makeup, without decorations, without instructions. A little boy plays in the sand. He's building a tower out of mud. He looks at it and says, "This is Tashkent. Rich people will live here." Next to him, his grandmother. She looks away. She says nothing. Her face is an archive. Everything is there. War, the USSR, divorce, reform, and another crisis. Uzbekistan isn't a fairy tale. It isn't a tragedy. It isn't an Oriental postcard. It's a country living on the edge, between a dream and a bill, between gold and debt, between the past and the future. It smiles, but it doesn't laugh. It beckons, but it doesn't open up. It stands still, but it isn't moving. You've walked its streets. You've heard its music. You've eaten its plov. Now ask yourself, did you understand where you were? Because here, every courtyard is a stage. Every woman is a system. Every piece of jewelry is a trap. Uzbekistan isn't just a place. It's a mirror. And not everyone wants to see the reflection in it.